The second game that I had a crush on from Final Fantasy. However, I think it's important, very important actually, to talk about the very first series I fell in love with. You see, most of the game that I was playing, I wasn't a very good gamer, and I wasn't the one with the most games. So Final Fantasy didn't have all the games. Devil May Cry didn't have all the games. Jack and Dexter, I had all the games, but it was only 3 games, so it wasn't really a series. And if I'm being completely honest, Jack and Dexter, I like the first game, I like the second game, I didn't like the third one, and even the first one, I like the gameplay, I didn't like the story. Other that are worth mentioning was Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank, I fucking love that. I fucking loved it. However, Ratchet and Clank, I didn't play Ratchet. I didn't play Size Matters, so I stopped playing. I played the 3 on the PS2, which I fucking love. But Kingdom Hearts was the very first series I fell in love with, and I became obsessed with it. See, for Ratchet and Clank, it could have been the first one. However, it wasn't something that I was obsessed with. Kingdom Hearts, I was obsessed. See, I told you guys about my favorite game when I was younger. It was Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, and I did a video about this not too long ago, about my favorite game, musically speaking. Kingdom Hearts and Ocarina of Time were on it. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask was one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game, as a child. I have to put in Pokemon Silver also. Even the Pokemon games as a series, I didn't really partake. I played Yellow, I played Silver, I played Emerald, I played Diamond, I played White and Black and White. I didn't play Black and White 2. I didn't play Sun and Moon. I didn't play X and Y. I didn't play I own Sword and Shield, and I'm gonna be playing Scarlet Violet, but I don't own all of the other games that I mentioned. Which means that I completely missed on the Mega Evolution. It's crazy. So yeah, so Kingdom Hearts. How did I fall in love with Kingdom Hearts? It was super simple. I was discovering RPG. So as a kid, I had a really hard time controlling my ADHD, which is still the case, but a lot of a harder time. And I remember playing a lot of games that were shooting and things like that. And as a kid, I didn't really understand the management of, you know. And then the game that changed my life was Final Fantasy IV. For a couple of reasons. It was the very first RPG that I played. To me, Pokemon was an RPG. Older, I can actually say that Pokemon was an RPG. But to me, Pokemon didn't feel like an RPG. Why? It's actually pretty simple. Because I didn't know what an RPG was. Final Fantasy was my very first turn-based RPG, and I'm like multiple characters. They all have a story. The fourth was the best one because I started learning English. I was 13. I played Final Fantasy IV at 14. In the first game where I really cared about the story. Oh, I remember being obsessed. I was playing at night. And I did that with Pokemon Silver too. I had a flashlight in my mouth. I had a cover over my head, and I was playing. I did that for a book, I never did that for anything else. Apologies. It was really, and I mean really, something. So we're talking about Kingdom Hearts. Well, because of Final Fantasy IV, I fell in love with RPG. There was such a charm to having something super weak, and then growing stronger, and then saving the world. I have to special mention games like Golden Sun. I have to special mention games like Dragon Quest VIII was really good. I have to mention games like whatchamacallit. There was a lot of games turn-based that I played. A lot of games. And then I was stuck in between 2 worlds. The Ratchet and Clank, the Jack and Daxter, which I was a big fan of, and Final Fantasy, which I was a big fan of. And then Kingdom Hearts happened. The way Kingdom Hearts came into my life was when oh my god, my mom, I was always like my mother's baby boy. So even at 12 and 13 years old, I had a daycare. I had not a nanny, but she was like, you know when you go at a party and you hired a young high school girl or CJ girl, you say, hey, take care of my kids, we're gonna go out. My babysitter. And yeah, I had a babysitter. And she was cool. She brought me, she was super into Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh man, she was cool. She was into Evanescence, Yu-Gi-Oh! And she was a goth. And then what happened was, she introduced me to Kingdom Hearts. And I have never Never, never, ever. And the cool thing with her is she was someone that I trusted, but she was always also going through the same thing. She introduced me to Final Fantasy X. That was her favorite game. And she introduced me to Kingdom Hearts. Why I felt like loving Kingdom Hearts was I was born in the 90s, so Disney movie, I watched them. The first game is what? The first game is Alice in Wonderland, it is Hercules, it is Tarzan, then it is Aladdin, then it's Monstro, then it is Nightmare Before Christmas, and then it's Raging Garden, which is Maleficent. And I just fell in love, but it was also the fact that the gameplay, it was nothing like the gameplay of Kingdom Hearts. The gameplay of Kingdom Hearts was elements of a action slasher, an action game, and the RPG elements. So I was like, holy shit. Even then, we're gonna move away from Kingdom Hearts for a couple seconds. One of my favorite games ever is Borderlands 2. And in Borderlands 2, you switch from the RPG, base turn-based combat, but it's still an RPG. You get skill trees, you get level up. With Kingdom Hearts, I really fell in love with it. And at first, I had a problem. I didn't speak a lot of English, but, you know, the gameplay was so fun. And Kingdom Hearts 1 came in, and my favorite game. It's a funny thing, I defeated Maleficent. I didn't know what to do after. Then I restarted the game. Just Kingdom Hearts was such a beautiful game. The fact that you went to worlds, it was... I grew up playing... One of the first games that I played was Super Mario 64. You would jump into portraits in a different world. You had a different world. They all had a story. They all had a keyblade. You know? They all had a big boss. It was really cool. So I really fell in love with Kingdom Hearts. Moving on from that, I really, really fell in love. But again, I wasn't super... For example, when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, I didn't even know that it came out. You know? And to me, it was just a game that was fun to play. Like, and this is so weird because I had a choice between a game that I understood and a game that I didn't understand. I didn't really understand what was going on in Kingdom Hearts. But I like to play. I like to start a game, to just play a world and just fight my way through the boss battles. It was fun. And then I grew up. I learned a lot of English. That's when I really started playing Kingdom Hearts. The first one, the second one. Then I got really involved with Kingdom Hearts, and I got obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. But at that time, it was easy to get obsessed with Kingdom Hearts. The game that I played was Chain of Memories on the GBA, which was phenomenal. I played 356 Day, which was shitty. It was so shitty. The gameplay was so shitty. I remember playing it on the DS. I broke my DS in 5 months. And one of the games that I played was Kingdom Hearts Chain of 356 Day. The gameplay was just bad. Just the graphics, they were unbearable. Then you had the story of Scion. Then of course, I got a PSP. And the reason I got a PSP was to play for Bird by